Hey folks, my name is Jen, and today I am here to tell you about the stack of books that I am hoping to read in March. So full disclosure here, I am actually filming this video ahead of time. It is not March yet, it is still February. I am making this a very tentative list, somewhat. So there's about 3 books here on this list that I had for this month, and I have not cracked them open so far, so I have a feeling that I am not going to get to them at all this month, so I am hoping to read them soon anyway. So yeah, they're on this list in the hopes that I can get to them in March or can finish them in March if I have not, made significant progress in them by the last day of February. And then I also have books on here. There's a couple that are most definite reads, and then everything else basically is tentative. So I have been having a hell of a time this year so far, and I know it's only 2 months in, but I have been having a hell of a time trying to stick to my monthly TBR because I'm very excited about the books that I pick out at the beginning of the month, and then it comes time to read them and I just either have no interest at all or I'm just having a hard time focusing long enough on those things. I don't know if any of this is because I have also started a new job this month, and so I'm finding that I have now less time than I previously had for reading and doing Instagram pictures and videos for booktube. So yeah, everything on here is a stack, but it's very tentative because I'm still figuring out what I potentially have time for to read in a month. So my husband and I and some friends usually make some time in either February or March to go away somewhere. We rent like a big house and have like a game weekend and just hang out, have a lot of fun, eat a lot of food, drink a lot of things, that kind of stuff. We haven't been able to do it because of COVID, but now we have planned to do it this March because everybody's like vaccinated and being careful, so tentative getting together. Normally the places that we rent out are kind of large and old because there's a bunch of us, and a lot of the times I end up bringing mysteries along with me because that's just the thing that feels like it needs to be read there. Last time we did it, we rented this old mansion which was styled after an Italian villa, and the library looked like exactly what you'd think a library that Poirot would be in. Yeah, it looks exactly like something where that would take place. We actually did a murder mystery night there, which was pretty cool. And I, of course, brought along One Two Book on My Shoe by Agatha Christie, which is a Poirot mystery. This time, even though the setting is slightly different, this year I'm still going with a couple of mysteries that I am going to bring with me that I hope to get to. The first of which is The Clocks by Agatha Christie, and this is another Poirot mystery. So this one involves Poirot being pulled into a case in which a body is found completely surrounded by clocks. The clocks are all set to 4:13. I'm not sure if that's morning or evening, but it is all set to then, and Poirot has to figure out what that means, what that's about, and also, of course, interrogate the kind of witnesses to the murder too, which sounds like it's a collection of interesting people. The other mystery that I hope to get to is The Maid by Nita Prose. This was on my most anticipated list. I'm sure that you have been hearing everybody talk about this ad nauseum because it just came out. It was also I think it was in the Book of the Month box for what, December, January? I don't think it was February. Maybe it was February's. I don't know. Anyway, this is a mystery is being compared to Clue. In a sense, it follows Molly, who sounds like she might be neurodivergent, potentially, and she is like wicked good at her job as a maid in this grand hotel. One day she goes in to clean one of the rooms and finds the guest, who is a particularly infamous character, dead, which would be, you know, not great enough to walk in on, but apparently due to her demeanor surrounding this situation, that puts her on the radar of the police, who don't, you know, understand that, you know, she just has a different way of with social skills than they do, I guess. And it's her like being pulled into this, and I think trying to figure out some of the clues herself. So I think it sounds pretty cool. I think this is going to be really good, and I'm excited to have a couple of like cozy little mysteries to bring with me, a little trip. So there are two other books that I'm absolutely planning on getting to for this month. The first of which is The Thinking Machine by Jacques Futrell. This is following The Thinking Machine. He has a very weird name. Hold on. It's Professor Augustus S.F.X. Van Dusen, who is compared basically to Sherlock Holmes, except he's even more like a machine. He's even more methodical. He is a genius, a diminutive egghead scientist is what he's referred to in here. They're basically like Edwardian era mystery adventures. So I have a reason behind reading this. I know that not everybody has probably heard about this. I hadn't heard about it until 2019, but I decided to read this because I am a mystery fan, and I feel like I can call myself a fan of mysteries, but I should really read like where mysteries started and where mysteries really, you know, got to be a thing. So that's Sherlock Holmes, which I've read all of the stories. I think I have completed all of them, because I have the Barnes & Noble Complete Sherlock Holmes, so I think that is complete. That's like all of the stories. And of course I read Agatha Christie and P.G. Wodehouse and Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett and everyone like that, and Dorothy L. Sayers, so I read a lot of things, but this is another like old-timey mystery author that I should also check out. So I wanted to read that for this reason, and I also wanted to read it because I am planning on including this book in a video that I will be making in April, and I will talk more about that then. Yeah, so I recently grabbed this up because I wanted to read it, and yeah, I desperately want to get to it in March so that I'm all prepared for the video that I want to do in April. And then the fourth book that I most definitely am going to get to this month is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. This is one that I absolutely have to get to, and I'm holding myself accountable for this. I know this is frightening to do, because if you look at this puppy, it's thick. Like, it's 3 C's thick. Like, 1,243 pages. Because idiot me had to go get the unabridged version because I wanted to read the actual thing. And this was the version that most people recommended online. So, yeah. If you don't know anything about the Count of Monte Cristo, there is a man who's a good man, in love, hardworking, similar enough to Sweeney Todd if you really think about it in a way, because he's a hardworking man who's in love and like I think he is getting married or getting engaged. And then he is wrongfully accused and convicted of a crime. And I think he was framed for it because someone wanted his like fiance. I could be wrong about that aspect of it, but I do know that he was wrongfully convicted of a crime and thrown in jail, and he basically plots to escape from jail and to seek his revenge. So this is 1,200 pages of a revenge story, which I do love a good revenge story, so I'm pretty excited about this, but while at the same time being incredibly intimidated because this will be the largest book I've ever read once I read it. So yeah, I have been attempting to read this puppy for years, like literal years and years. So what I plan to do for this one is to hold myself accountable by saying that I am going to read this month of March. And also because I'm going to set aside a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and also potentially part of a Monday, depending how things go. I'm going to be setting that aside and focusing solely on reading this book. And I am going to also hold myself accountable because I will be vlogging the experience. I'm hoping to put up maybe some updates here and there on Bookstagram to also hold myself accountable, and then I will also be vlogging the experience, and that will be a video that will hopefully also go up in March. It might not go up until April. We'll see how life goes. But yeah, so that will be something that I will be doing. So I will be posting that video at some point of me vlogging the experience of reading this book. Just so you know, there will be spoilers in that because I'm sure I'll be reacting to things throughout the reading process. So if you haven't read this and you desperately want to read it, just be aware of that. If you don't care, or you've read it, or you've seen the movie but don't really think about wanting to read the book, whatever, you know, you're in for a treat, maybe. Also, after I finish reading this, then I'm going to go and watch one of the movie versions finally, so that will be fun. I might also revisit the Wishbone episode that I watched when I was a kid, which was why I wanted to read this when I was little. It was because of that episode. But yeah, anyway, Count of Monte Cristo, gonna happen. And then I just have a couple of books here that are very tentative for the month. Again, because I'm going to devote an entire weekend to that Honkin' Buddy. And then I've also got those other books, and I don't really know how I am for time overall. So, beginning of the year, I was hoping to take part in a lot more readathons. I'm finding that to not really working out in my favor so much. I am still trying to take part in Feb Regency, although, like I said, I've been having a little hard time focusing. So there are a couple of books that I haven't quite really gotten to much of in February so far, so if I'm not able to get to them, I would like to at least read some of them, or read some part of them in March. I don't know if that's going to happen, and those are Birth, Evelina, by Fanny Burney and The Female Quixote by Charlotte Lennox. Yeah, I'm hoping to like at least get to one of them, or attempt to get to one of them in March if I haven't managed to finish them in February. And then another book that I haven't been able to get to so far this month, but I also still want to really read soon, and I'm hoping maybe I can get to in March, or if not March, maybe April at least, is The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. I talked about this last month, right? Yeah, at the beginning of February. This is about Cora, who is escaping from slavery and is going on the Underground Railroad, which in this retelling of historical events, the Underground Railroad is an actual like underground railroad, like a fantastical railroad underground, so that's pretty cool. And then at the beginning of the year, like I said, I was hoping I would take part in more readathons, and one of those I was hoping to do again, because I kind of participated last year, was Middle Grade March. But at this point, I don't know if that's really going to happen on top of the other books that I desperately need to get done in March. So I'm kind of half-heartedly putting in my participation for Middle Grade March by saying that there are several middle grade books that I really like to get to, but there are two ones that I recently got that I would like to try to pick up at some point in March anyway, and that's why I say it's my half-hearted like attempt to participate, because I don't know if they'll fit in with any of the like prompts for the month, but at least they're middle grade, so it's something. And one of those is The House with Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson. And the other is Mari and the Night Brothers, and this is by B.B. Alston. I talked about both of these in my recent book haul video, but yeah, I would like to get to both of them. The House with the Chicken Legs is about a girl named Marinka who desperately wants a human friend. Her only friend at this point is the House with the Chicken Legs, which she lives in with her grandmother, who is the Baba Yaga. So one day she does a crazy thing to get an actual human friend, and unfortunately there are repercussions for that, and she has to go on a journey. And the other book is Amari and the Night Brothers. This is following Amari, whose older brother went missing, and the police and everyone around her is basically telling her he is dead, get over it. And she does not believe that he is dead. She thinks that he is just missing. Something has happened to him. And one day she ends up discovering a ticking briefcase in his room, and inside of it is this invitation to a summer program at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. And she ends up going to this, and it's like a competition almost with all these kids with like magical abilities, and she's only now just learning about this whole like different magical society and everything. This is like a series. I really want to read the first book soon, so yeah, I'm hoping that I can at least try to get to one or both of these in March too, maybe. So that's it, folks. That is everything that I am hoping to get to in March. I think that it will be a good time, hopefully, and an enjoyable reading month. I'm going to torture myself with Count of Monte Cristo, but we'll see how it goes. I hope that you guys are having a great reading month, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!